Okay, I think I have the record button pushed, and it's time to dive into our four-part learning series that I am going to kick us off in 2025 with. So, if you did not get a chance to watch last week's presentation on the boost and some of the compensation plan enhancements that are coming, first of all, I encourage you to do that because it'll make this video make a whole lot more sense. Okay, so in that call, I announced that I was going to do a little four-part series to kind of kick us off, re-familiarize ourselves, reacquaint us with kind of how to get started with sharing essential oils with others. Some of us have been out of the loop for a while. Maybe you're watching this video and you're brand new, you're getting ready to host your first class. And so I thought I would do a little four-part series so that we can kind of all just come back together, regroup, and get this party started in 2025 with teaching people a little bit more about oils. So I am going to be sharing my screen in this video. I'm going to try to make it about 15 or 20 minutes long because you got things to do, I got things to do, and our capacity to actually absorb everything is not that long sometimes. Okay, so some of you have been around for a while and you have heard me use this phrase, invite everyone, work with those that move towards you, and mentor the committed. And that's kind of our philosophy in everything that we do in doTERRA, or even just in sales in general, or if you've got your, another business that you might have, or, honestly, like anything that we do, if we're trying to invite to something, we're just inviting everyone. We're trying to decide, like, is this person actually open to learn about essential oils? Because some people might be like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with your hippy dippy woo woo. And other people are going to be like, yes, I have been seeking a solution. I'm not sleeping at night and I cannot wait to learn more about some natural options. Okay. So the whole philosophy with the invite everyone, work with those that move toward you, and mentor the committed, it kind of is this dial in to know where we're putting our energy and where we're not putting our energy. Okay. One of the things that I have learned over the last 15 years of building a doTERRA business and teaching others how to build a doTERRA business is that sometimes we spend a lot of time with people that just truly aren't interested, and we get our hopes all wrapped up in these people that are really giving us all of the signs that, like, hey, I'm just not interested. And so then that can lead us to having a lot of frustration in whatever we're doing. And so one of the things I'm really all about right now is figuring out a way to build and share and invite people into the lifestyle of doTERRA, but in a really fun and easy way for myself. Like, I'm in a different season than when I first got started with doTERRA. I've got 3 boys now that are in a lot of activities. I can't teach very many classes at night. I think this month I'm teaching 1 class in the evening. When I first got started, they were little. They were easy to leave with a babysitter. My husband, would take over the shift as soon as he got home. And I could be out and I could be teaching people in in-home environments. Also, when I started 15 years ago, and when many of you started 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, we didn't have modern technology. We didn't have Zoom. We didn't have email systems. We didn't have an easy way to communicate. And even though those are really beautiful things about our business, they can also be kind of barriers in our business as well. And we're going to talk about that. So, with all that being said, I want to teach you some really fun ways to kind of step back into your business in a way that is easy for you, that works for your lifestyle. And so part of that is understanding some basics about how people are going to flow through your doTERRA and where you kind of need to spend your attention and your time and your energy and where you don't. And that philosophy of invite everyone, work with those that move towards you, and mentor the committed is going to come into play. And so last week I was working with somebody that's just getting started, brand new. She might even be watching this video, and we put together this, and it's something I've taught for many years, and I just kind of made a few tweaks to it last week. And this is what I want to teach you on today. I want to explain to you how people are going to move through your organization. And if you remember the Empowered Success System, the system that we have in doTERRA that trains us, we have the pipes. And so it's very similar to pipes. I'm just kind of putting it in a different format. And that's what I want to walk through today. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. And let's get started with understanding again how we are walking people through doTERRA. Because when we have this basic understanding of how we're moving people through our funnel and where activities we need to be focused in on, I think it makes it a lot easier. At the end of this, I'm also going to give you a couple of assignments to work on this week, and we will be having a live Q&A where you can come and ask questions. And don't worry if if it's for some reason you're watching this and you're like, I totally missed the live Q&A. You always have lots of support. You can always reach out. We can look through your stuff together. You can always ask questions, okay? So the first step we have to understand and with pipes is that we've got this concept of we're inviting everyone, okay? We're inviting everyone, and it's called lead generation. If you've ever been in sales, if you've ever been in marketing, it is really the lead generation. Where are the people coming from that you are going to filter into your doTERRA business? So you might remember, or maybe somebody has asked you to put together a names list, right? You can put together a names list of 50 or 100 people, and maybe you've done that before and you've gotten really frustrated, which I don't blame you. I'm not a huge fan of big giant names list. I don't believe that you have to put a names list of 100 together. I think you can start with wherever you want to start, because your business is yours and my business is different than yours. And we get to do whatever we want to within the scope of our business. These are general principles that we all need to understand as we're going into some of this stuff. So we're going to extend this invitation. We're putting people into what I call my sacred funnel. And so what I would encourage you to do is get out a piece of paper. This is part of one of your assignments. Get out a piece of paper and let's get your sacred funnel dialed down into, or your sales funnel dialed down into, so it's unique to you. So at the top, the arrows are representing people that you're putting into the funnel, right? So we're extending this invitation of this openness, and we're inviting everyone. We're like, hey, are you interested? Are you curious in learning about essential oils? I'm hosting a class. Are you curious? Are you, generating curiosity? And there's lots of ways. So what we're going to do is I want you to walk through this, and then we're going to go back and we're going to kind of hone in on how you can invite people. So we're inviting them, we're teaching them, we're asking them to come and to learn more, okay? And then that second step, from all of those people that you're out there, maybe you've got this names list, maybe you're, social media, whatever, you're kind of asking all these people, and there's going to be some that say no. There's going to be some that don't reply, okay? And you're just really trying to seek openness. Now, from this space of extending the invitation of openness down into this next step of inviting to learn more, there's no timeline. Some people, it's all in the person's time. And you got to remember, it's not in your timeline, it's in the person's timeline. Your customers, your client, your prospects, it's in their timeline. Your job is to reach out and to nurture, to ask questions, to check in on them. But your job is not to make the decision for them. And once you shift to trying to make the decision for them and trying to get too pushy, that's when your business will not work. Okay. So I want you to remember that. So we're inviting them to learn more. And the next step is we have to educate them, right? We got to educate them and teach them, like, hey, why do they need digestion in their home if they're having tummy issues? Why would they use Serenity to sleep? And how would they use that to sleep? So we're inviting them to learn more about why they would like these products and the benefits that they can come to their homes, okay? It used to be, I'm going to be super honest with everyone. It used to be that everybody could be like, oh, I just need that whole entire collection of essential oils. And we still will find people that just want the entire collection. But what I'm finding more and more is people want solutions to their specific concerns. So I'm not going to talk to somebody about Serenity and lavender for sleep if they're telling me their main concern is digestive issues. I'm only going to talk about the products that they need for digestion, maybe some tamers, some Terrazyme, some probiotics. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the products because they want to know what they have for a specific concern, and that's usually where people are getting started. So we're inviting to learn more, and after they've learned more, we're going to invite them to use the products to get started with their own wholesale account. And then the main piece, then you're going to have some people that we come down into this support piece, and these are going to be our VIP customers, and those are those on loyalty rewards or the doTERRA rewards program. So those are going to become your VIP customers, the ones that are loyal to you, the ones that are placing orders every single month. And as if you notice, we've got this big this big pool we're coming from, and we start to funnel down, because the reality is not everybody that we extend the invitation to is going to want to learn more. Not everybody we educate is going to want to get started, and not everybody that gets started is going to want to become a VIP customer. Now, your job in your business is to effectively move people through this funnel. And don't worry, in the next couple of trainings, I'm going to be giving you lots of tips and tricks and ideas on how to do that. Plus, some of it is just putting in more reps. It's learning like, hey, this is working for me and this might not be working for me. And that's what those open Q&As are going to be, where we can kind of share ideas and say like, hey, what's working for you? What's working for you? And I'm going to show you some things. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to go back and I want to look at all of these things. And this is where your assignment's going to come in, is I want you to create your own funnel, your sacred funnel, whatever you call it. I want you to create your own this week, to kind of ask yourself, how do I want to flow people through my funnel? And I think you're going to understand what I mean a little bit more in just a bit. Okay, so extending the invitation. This is seeking openness. It's asking people to invite in. So there's a couple of different ways that we can do this. We can create a names list and we can start going through that names list and reaching out to people. That's a great way to do it. Some of us maybe we want to dive into social media. I'm really having fun with social media now and getting to meet new people, new clients, new connection, things like that. And if that's something you want to look at, we can always look at that separate. I've got great resources on that. But just like, hey, what am I doing and showing? Like, what lifestyle things am I doing? Maybe on my Instagram and my Facebook stories, maybe I'm doing videos, maybe I'm doing training and education. How am I bringing people in? Maybe you've got a great friends group and you're going to start to invite some of your friends and family in. Maybe you're going to ask for referrals. It doesn't matter really how you put people into your funnel. The thing is you always want to have a never-ending lead flow. And the reality is, at some point in time, we kind of run out of our warm market. So it might be that we have to start asking for referrals, or we ask if somebody wants to host a class for us or something like that. And it could be like, hey, we need to get into more of the social game, right? Who knows? Like, a lot of you are hiding on social media, and you know what? There's people out there that need the knowledge and the wisdom that you have. So just remember, it doesn't matter how those people get into the funnel. It's just that you have people that you are pulling from, pools of people that you're pulling from. And if we don't know how to effectively put people into our business, this is where we can get stagnation. This is where we can get frustration, because you're like, I don't have anybody to invite. We get to the end of the month, and we're like, I don't have anybody to enroll. I don't have anybody to work with. And that's just because we haven't effectively learned how to put people into our funnel, or do what I call lead generation. And right now in my business, I'm spending the majority of my time doing lead generation, because I don't know if you remember what I said in the training video, is I'm not like, I enrolled several people in 2024, but not the 1 to 2 a month average, 1 to 3 a month average that I have set as a goal for myself, right? So if you know exactly where you're going, how many people you want to enroll, if you've got that, goal that you're going to have 1 or 2 enrollments so you can work toward that $500 check, I think that's a great place to start. And I think it's very doable and very manageable for most of us. Okay. So how are we putting people into our funnel? Okay. Now, as we're putting people into our funnel, we're extending invitations. We're asking them, are you open to learn about natural health? Maybe we see somebody, a mom's group or a mom that we're sitting next to at a football game or something, and she's hacking and coughing, and we can like, hey, would you like to try a natural remedy for that? Can I drop off some oils and a cough drop? And they might be like, oh no, I'm good. It's just allergies. I've had that happen recently. And I'm like, no, that's not allergies. We live in Iowa and it's 0 degrees out. Anyway, that's a whole nother story, but you learn a lot. One of the things I want to remind you of, and this is a really important point, so you might want to write it down, is that when I am extending the invitation and I am seeking openness, I do not disregard them as a potential lead until they have specifically told me no. Okay, did you hear that? You do not deem them uninterested until they actually tell you no. Until they tell me no, I am going to continue to reach out. I am going to continue to nurture their relationship. Now, does that mean that every single day I'm headed into their DMs when I don't know them and I'm like, hey, are you interested in my essential oil class? Are you interested in using On Guard? Oh, I saw your kids are sick again. No, that's not what that means. It means that I'm not ruling them out as a potential lead. I am trusting the process and I'm going to continue to nurture those relationships with them. Maybe it's with a message, maybe it's just with a check-in. Depends on how I know that person. Maybe I'm commenting on their Facebook stuff. Maybe I'm, commenting on their stories, whatever. My goal in this process is to build relationships. And that's one of the biggest things I've seen in 2024 and in my entire business. If you want a lasting doTERRA business that stands the test of time, wherever that is for you at $500, $1,000, $5,000, it's about nurturing relationships. People buy from those they know, love, and trust. And in today's market, people are trusting less and less and fewer people. So your job is to let them know who you are, and how you can support them with specific things and continuing to build those relationships. And not every piece of that relationship should be an ask for them to purchase or extend the invitation. So kind of went off on a little rant there, but one of the biggest things I've seen people do in the last 10 to 15 years is that they stop following up with leads because that person never responded to them. I want to ask y'all, how many of you have received a text message that you haven't responded to, or it's taken you a while to respond to, even though you might have been interested in what the person was sending, right? How many of you have not responded to something, or maybe it takes you a while to respond and somebody has to remind you? I think probably 95% of you could answer yes, because I send a lot of text messages. I send a lot of messages and I get a lot of no replies from some of you that are watching this. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not losing sleep over it at night. I understand human nature. I understand that, hey, not everybody responds to a text and sometimes we need a bump up. So that's all I'm going to say on that. But I want you to keep that in mind, because this is probably one of the biggest places I see people getting their lead generation wrong, or they're getting defeated in lead generation. Is because they think that nobody's interested, and the reality is they just haven't spent the time to build the relationship, and it is not, they are interested until you get the actual no. Okay, and I can give you scripts and invites to learn more about that. Okay, now after we're inviting, we're nurturing relationships, we're getting them down, what are we inviting them to? We always have to have something to invite them to. Okay. Now it used to be, I would say you always have to have a class to invite to. That I don't think is any longer true, right? I do believe you have to have something that you can invite them to learn more or educate them. That does not have to be a class. How many of you are like, I don't want to give a class. I love essential oils, but I ain't getting up in front of anybody to give a class. Totally fine. Right? Maybe you're a busy mama and you're like, nope, 7 o'clock is my bedtime and I want to be home with my babies. Totally fine. Maybe you're like me and you're like, you have kids in teenager kids that are in everything and you're running around like crazy. You don't have time, right? You're like, hey, it's not that you don't have time. It's just evening classes aren't a priority for you. Maybe you don't want to teach a whole class. Maybe it's like you just have open time in your schedule to teach a one-on-one. Right? Maybe a one-on-one is what you're more comfortable with. A one-on-one is just where you meet with somebody individually. Maybe there's an online class that I'm hosting or your upline is hosting and you want to teach an online class. Maybe you want to do an online class that I come and teach for you and you're in charge of inviting. I'm doing that for some people this month, and it's working out beautifully. Right? So where are we adding them to learn more about? Maybe it's just a video you're going to send them. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to teach you about a system I'm using that you can easily send people and get people connected into emails, which is absolutely free. And you can invite them to learn more. One of the new girls that I'm just getting started right now is we went through and we set up this system for her. So as she is inviting people to her class, the ones to say, hey, I can't make the class, but I'm super interested, she doesn't have to worry about hosting another class. She's like, oh, awesome. I'm going to send you some resources online. Is that okay? Absolutely. That person can watch them when it works for them, and we're not discrediting the lead. So what are we inviting people to? That's what I want to know. What are we inviting people to? It can be a class. It can be a workshop. It can be in person. It can be online. It could be a video. It can be a resource and emails. We're just simply inviting them to learn a little bit more in the way that works for us and in the way that works for them. And we can have multiple levels. This is a big shift that I've had recently because I feel like for a long time we were like, no, you have to have classes. You have to have host a class if you're going to be a successful doTERRA leader. I say BS on that anymore. Okay. This is our business, our rules. We get to build them in the way that works for us. Now, after they've educated, we're going to teach them how to get started. How are we going to teach them how to get started? We send them a link, super easy. We're not going to make it complicated. Here's a link, get started. After they get started, we support them. Again, we let them know about monthly specials. We get them connected to Facebook groups. Maybe we get them set into an email drip. We teach them, we give them white glove service. We're like, hey, thank you so much for joining my community. When they place an order, we send them a text with a little fun little Giphy thing or whatever you call it. And we are like, hey, thank you so much for your order. I appreciate you so much. I call it the white glove theory, the white glove service. All right. This is where we go. This is our funnel. Okay. So hopefully this is helping you. Like, we're extending the invitation. We're working with those that are moving toward us. We're figuring out how they want to be educated. We're giving them that white glove service. We're inviting them to enroll, to get started. We're helping them come up with those specific needs that they need. We can do it through link generators, super easy. Hey, you can't sleep? Here's an awesome sleep system. I added all my favorites to the cart, got it up to 100. Here you go. You can change it, edit it, delete it, whatever. I appreciate you. And then we can continue to support them. This is our funnel. If we understand this and we get clarity and we have confidence in each step of the funnel and what we're supposed to do in the funnel, you will have massive success. You will have the success you desire. You will easily be able to enroll those 1 to 2 people a month and help them get started. But the first thing is you have to dial in on this and you have to be comfortable and confident with it. And we need to identify, like, hey, I'm comfortable with this part, but I need a little help with this. This is what we're going to do over the next 4 weeks. I want to help you get really confident with that. So this week, you're going to draw out your little sacred funnel, right? You're going to draw this out, and I will have a link to this in the thing, like an empty one if you want to use it. Honestly, get out a notebook paper, draw it out, start to scribble, start to brain dump. And I want you to ask yourself, where am I pulling people from? How do I want to pull people from? Do I want to do some social media stuff? Do I want to ask for referrals? Do I need to go back and write a names list? And honestly, make a names list. I do not care how many people you put on there. I want you to check in and I want you to be like, hey, who needs some essential oils? Just start writing people's names down, right? Just start writing people's names down. You can keep it in the notes version of your phone, but I want you to ask yourself, how am I feeding my funnel? Right? Maybe you have a funnel and there's some people that you've written off, but they never actually told you no. Maybe that's where you start, right? Don't make it complicated, but I want you to know, how are you feeding your funnel? And then when you get to the next part, how are you going to educate, right? Again, we're going to be going over some simple ways to educate, but ask yourself, do I want to host classes? Do I want to do some one-on-ones? Do I want to do a make and take event? What is your passion? My passion is women's hormones right now. When I first got started, it was babies and kids. Still love to teach people about babies and kids, but guess what? I am 47 years old. I am perimenopausal, and I love teaching women about hormones and how doTERRA can help with their hormones. So this month I am teaching a hormone class. Don't worry, I will send you the link. You can all invite to it. I'm teaching a hormone class because that's what lights me up. Do you like oils and horses? Do you like oils and dogs and cats? Do you like oils in your sourdough bread? Have fun with this. How are you going to educate? Because when you are stepping into your passion on how to educate, guess what? People are going to automatically be attracted to you. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, maybe you're a chiropractor. You want to teach a class on pain. Maybe I'm not going to tell you have to teach the basic class. I will tell you the foundational wellness is a great place to start. And most of the time, foundational wellness can be brought into everything. But maybe it's with a sip and share night and they're sipping their green drinks, right? We're raising our vibes with essential oils. I don't care what it is. I want you to figure out how you want to educate people. What are you inviting them to? Once you get them enrolled, how are you going to support? What does support look like for you? Maybe you've got a giant team that you haven't been supporting for a while. How do you want to support them? Right? And some of these questions can be answered like when you ask yourself, like, how do you like to be sold to? What do you like your buying experience to be? Then it will help you understand a little bit more how you want to show up to serve. Like for me, I like VIP white glove experience when I go to a store, right? When I walk in, but I also don't like to be bugged to death. Like I want to know that I'm important to the person when I walk in the door, right? So if I go into a store and I mean, I'm not talking like Target, right? If I go into Target, I want to be treated well. I want the bathrooms to be clean, which the last time I went, they were not. It was so gross. Anyway, I want the bathrooms to be clean. I want them to be like the employees to be clean. Like I'm not asking for a whole lot. It depends on the store I'm going to. But if I need to buy a pair of jeans, I want to go somewhere where those women know jeans and they can help me with my jeans because I hate jean shopping. How many of you hate jean shopping, right? And I want somebody to help me, but I don't want them hovering either. I want them to come up and when I walk in the door, I want them to be like, hey, can I help you? What are you looking for today? I want them to ask me questions. I want them to get to know me. And because I have stores that do this now, when I walk in, they're like, hey, what are we shopping for today? And I'm going to go start pulling stuff off the racks for you. That's the experience I like. So that's the experience I like to give my customers. I'm like, hey, here I am. I'm here to support you. I'm not going to be, over the top Nancy. I am here to support you. And let me know what you like. What are we looking for? What are your health concerns? What do you have going on right now that you would like to seek some solutions? I'm prepping for my hormone class. Some of you might have already gotten a message from me. And if you commented on my post on Facebook, I'm in the inbox now going, hey, I'm hosting. I saw that you're interested in my hormone class. What's going on with your hormones? Can you tell me? I want to make sure I incorporate it into the class. Do you see? We're creating relationships. And to do that, we might have to get a little uncomfortable, but that's okay. But that's okay because what it takes, it's going to take a little bit uncomfortable to get to that $500 and beyond. Okay. But I know you can do it because you're going to be given all the tools. So this week, go back, ask yourself, how do I like to be sold to? Which will lead to what kind of experience do I want to give my prospects and my customers, my leads? And then I want you to ask yourself, how am I feeding my pipeline? What do I want to do to educate? What lights me up to educate people? And then we'll start to get into this funnel a little bit more, and we're going to kind of start to create yours. But it starts with you creating the foundation. This is your business. There's certain things we have to do. We got to walk people through this funnel. We got to walk them through the pipes, find, teach, enroll, support, right? We have to walk them through these steps. We can't ignore those steps, but we have so much space and so much capacity to create what we desire and what we create within these funnels and within these systems. And for so long, I think we did this business how we thought we should do this business. And that's not what I'm here for anymore. I'm here to show you how to create your funnel. I'm here to show you how to create your super intentional and mapped out beautiful plan where you're just calling these people in. We're calling them in and we're serving them to the best of our abilities. And we are finding the people that are here for us to serve. So that was training number 1. Stay tuned for 3 more. I'm not actually sure what the topics are going to be, but we are going to come up with some really fun stuff. If you have any ideas, please let me know. Cannot wait to see your homework assignments and be on the lookout for the Q&A call. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. There we go. Bye.